Alright, so, before we go to the Coliseum and embark upon a journey of incredible violence, we first need to use the Forbidden Tech. Now, you may remember that Quest Magnus all have a little side effect of having them: increased light damage, slight paralysis resistance, whatever, right? Mountain Apples increase your HP by 5%.
Uh-huh.
Which is not much if you had one of them, but if you were to, say, shove 10 of them in your inventory...
That's a decent chunk of beef.
So, now that we're rocking an extra 50% HP, let's go to the championship battle. Let's do it.
I don't see how this is forbidden. This seems like entirely within the rules. Who's forbidding this, and why? Also, is there any other time in the game where you can, like, really play with that stuff? Because that sounds useful.
I mean, it's really you can only get them in Sadal Sud, so you need to have free access to the world map to make any sort of actual use of it.
May my blade be sharp.
Or you need to be in Sadal Sud. So, like, I guess theoretically, it would be nice to have before you go fight Hughes. Like, it's not quite as generally useful as it looks, but it is there, and you can do it.
And I guess it does get disrupted if you ever have to, actually use Quest Magnus to do something, which I guess would be happening a lot in this game. The game that characteristically has Magnus doing stuff. Guess I should have seen that wrinkle coming.
And you're also limited by time, obviously. Eventually, those apples will rot, and you will...
Oh right, this game does that bullshit.
And then eventually you'll have whatever... I don't know what rotten food does, like, has a passive, but, like, it will do that instead, and you will have a lot less HP and be very sad.
I mean, I guess that all kind of hinges on what the passive is, if it changes, so, something. This seems like the kind of thing that they could have made an entire system with, maybe. Now, whether they should have done that, whether that would have made the game unbearable, pass. But, sounds like it could be pretty video games.
It could be. But I mean, it also that could also go very wrong very fast.
I mean, it kind of has gone very wrong previously. Just in this game alone, we have seen they have tried video games. They attempted things. Sometimes those things landed. Sometimes those things did not land. There's theories at work here, I guess. Like, I don't know. I mean, I guess my main question is the game at all balanced around the idea that you might do this? Because this game seems like it has pretty tight balance generally. Like, there's knife edges around.
Sort of. I don't have a good answer to that question. I will say that if it's not expected that you're doing it, then I will say that I feel quite underleveled at the end of the game, because even with doing all of these extra side quests and everything, like, you can see how often my characters would be dead if they did not literally have 50% more HP than they should. I mean, not so much, like, at this point. This is still, like, round 2, but we will get there, don't you worry.
Like, if I'm not much mistaken, literally right now, Sagi is at, if anytime he's at a third of health, means that we'll be dead if not for that extra 50%. That's how math works, right? I remember that. I can do numbers. I played Fire Emblem, you know.
So I've heard.
But like, yeah, I like, point taken. Maybe, you know, maybe they expect you to be playing more defensively. Like, I don't know. It's also just entirely possible that they just balanced it wrong. I'd have to ask the entire community for a consensus, and that doesn't seem like a thing that's going to be very fun to do. So, let's just say that it's questionable, the balance of this game, if this kind of thing feels necessary.
Yeah, the end of the game does get a little... The numbers start getting untenable, we'll say. Like, at the end of, like Malpersia, the Malpersio fight at the end of the last game was, like, the first one that got to the point where it really was just outright, no, the numbers are now fuck you big, and you can either play along or you can die. But, you know, that was the final boss. You may note that is not what this is. We still have at least one dungeon and at least 2 bosses before we get there.
I mean, on the other hand, you would expect, you know, optional content is where they get really bullshit. Like, the final boss has to be, like, in some way just balanced around the idea that there's going to be people who, like, have checked out and just want to push through and roll credits, because that's how we balance games now. And you put the real bullshit in the optional content. You know, it's the optional super boss. You've got to have your emerald weapon somewhere, right? So on the one hand, it does follow that, you know, you have to do some bullshit. And I mean, like, it's not like it would be entirely out of character for the real endgame optional content to start really pushing the kind of bullshit that you can accomplish with the tools in the game. Like, to do really, really ridiculous shit. Like, I invoked Emerald Weapon earlier. That is an example of a boss that requires an extent of engagement with the systems that are already in the game that you've been able to use to do stuff. But there is a difference between the bullshit that you can accomplish with materia for, 99% of Final Fantasy VII and the insanity of the outcomes they expect you to bring about to deal with the weapons. So it's not like this kind of nonsense is unprecedented. Like, maybe they really did think, okay, so like, here's the systems and here's the stuff that you're doing, and like, here's a little fight that is basically impossible to do unless you do this other thing, which we're gonna, just see if the player even remembers that they can do it. Like, there's a theory there, right?
There's not a theory, I guess, is the way I'm gonna respond to that.
I would have to be significantly more, like, intimately familiar with actually playing this game to be able to to opine more competently, more. I was going to say more confidently, and I messed up and said confidently, but I guess that's also true, so, being able to opine generally. It's a dangerous business,
So we've been talking over this whole fight, but aside from, like, the dudes with guns, these are basically all just enemies from the final dungeon that they're throwing at you. You can fight them at any time. It will generally go poorly for you.
It did strike me that they were somewhat unfamiliar.
I mean, aside from the Hercules dragon, which is the big boy on the right there, they all fight the same way as all of their other counterparts, they just have bigger numbers.
JRPGs.
The Hercules Dragon is particularly notable, not because he can do like 1,000 damage and knock you over, because everything can do that at this point, but he does two special things. First and foremost, his basic attack, as I'm sure you've noticed, hits everybody in the party, and that's not a fun time, although thankfully he doesn't do too much damage with this. The real trouble is that he is a massive sack of HP, and once he gets to low health, he will always heal himself if he needs to. And it will be very obvious when we get to that point, because he will heal himself for about 1,200 damage, and then across the 3 party members, you'll do about 1,200 damage, and then he'll heal himself again, and this will go on for about 10 fucking minutes.
Well, that sounds like total horseshit. I got nothing for that. Just like no. There's nothing to observe.
Fun fact: once you beat this and become the champion, we will unlock a series of like 7 other.
I'll bet we do. There's always another thing after you become the champion. Everyone knows this.
But yeah, one of those fights is a single round that has 2 of these motherfuckers and one of the black cats.
Cool.
We will not be doing that for what I hope are obvious reasons.
Yeah. Like, I don't know, maybe there's a further layer of total bullshit that they expect you to puzzle out. Like, you know, somebody must have a strat for it.
Oh, there's absolutely, like, higher levels of bullshit that we could be doing. Like, I could have changed up my deck so that it was focused on pulling out, like, the really horseshit combos, like Sagi and Gilo's ultimate 4 special ones, but I mean, I don't like to build around, like, trying to do one specific thing all the time, because it's just so easy to not get it, and then, you know, everything, it just kind of falls apart.
Deck building is wild like that. Like, you gotta assume that somebody put a lot of effort into designing just the abstract of this system. You know, maybe we're spoiled for being able to opine about good stuff that you can do in deck builders because we're cheating by living in a post-Slay the Spire world. But like, there's got to be leeway to build builds that are balanced around getting a thing some of the time and not getting it other times, because otherwise what's the point of being able to not be able to get the thing if you follow that clusterfuck of words that I just said. Like, I don't know. And at the same time, yeah, it's an optional follow-up to an optional content in a Coliseum, in a JRPG. Like, yeah.
May my blade be sharp.
It's where the bullshit goes.
Oh, for God!
Man, this has been going for a while.
It's okay, it's over, it's finally over. That one got it.
So yeah, you gotta do that twice, and, you know, try and live. Like, what's the point in even having the other enemy in that encounter? I don't know. I feel like I for some reason I have faith that there's a sensible reason for having the double dragon encounter.
Today, ladies and gentlemen, a new star is born.
But unfortunately, that's all I've got.
Echo throughout the Coliseum halls for all eternity. But in the meantime, folks, let us share this moment of joy and together celebrate this
And let's all just conveniently forget about the time that we decided to declare that he was a fake because bureaucracy.
New hero, conqueror of the Coliseum,
That never happened.
Sagi!
We absolutely have always been accepting of this shining talent. We're normal.
Oh, you have no idea how normal they are about Sagi.
We did it for you, small child. You're goddamn right.
It's true, there was literally no other reason for us to have gone on this whole quest.
How do you like that? Pretty cool, huh? All this for me.
This lands. It checks out.
You know, I too am choked up over having cured anime cancer by just having beaten up a shit ton of dudes.
Yep. Cured anime cancer with the power of incredible violence. We tried the power of love, but that didn't work. But also, like, this seems like such a big deal, but like this was the championship battle, right? This is a status, right? This is a process that they go through. Like, has there always been a championship battle, and like other people who did all the paperwork have tried it and all failed, and we're like the first to clear it ever? Otherwise, there'd be statues of literally anyone else?
It's not even statues of literally anyone else, they're all of Sagi. It's not even like it's Millie and Gilo and Sagi, it's just Sagi.
Yeah. Like... Yeah. What is with that? How is it that they managed to do this thing? Where they've got, here's our stupid thing, here's our framing device. I mean, I guess Gilo gets a portrait. And then they managed to nail it with the angle of doing everything for the small child. And then they throw this at you.
Yep, those are definitely some words that I could use to describe Sagi.
Like, wow, you were not kidding about them being normal about this. Like, what? Like, I can't tell if this is if this is like reaching the point of like bending around and becoming ironically good. Like, I'm not sure if they're overdoing it deliberately. Like, right?
I said I don't know.
Like, that this would require an extent of both self-awareness and confidence on the part of the scenario writers that I'm not sure we can really correctly state has been present thus far.
Well, I mean, okay, there is one little tidbit there. It has apparently been years since anybody has actually won the championship battle, so...
I mean, what happened to who was that guy? What happened to all the statues of them? Why haven't we been hearing about them this whole time?
Who can say? Maybe they weren't a pretty JRPG protagonist.
Also, like, is it like, are they intending for it to be like story canon that the last monster in the championship battle is like broken as fuck and basically impossible to defeat normally. Like, they're not. Are they? Like, they can't do that. They're not. They don't have the standing to do that and get me to think that, they got me, that's good writing, that's game design. No, fuck you. Fuck them if they are actually trying that. Otherwise, like, just normal amount of disdain for them.
So, another thing that we've been doing is carrying around, all of those monsters' corpses from all of the major bosses. So yeah, this guy, if you give them to him, allows you to refight them.
We can bring it back. Sensible science. Just fucking Jurassic Park it. Sure, whatever. In this universe, that's like, doesn't really register even as mad science. That's just normal.
And the fun part about this is that they are exactly as strong as they used to be. So, like, were we to give him, say, the Black Dragon's Horn, we would be in for a pretty bad time. But we can also give him, like, the Lord of the Lava Caves, and we can stomp him in about 30 seconds flat.
I mean, that's kind of funny, but, like, why? If you're gonna do a thing like this, you level everybody up, you rebalance it, otherwise what's the point? Just like... I don't understand why they would bother implementing this, and then just stop and not do any balancing. Like, everyone that does an arena in their game does this.
Does that even count as a fight?
Yeah, I'm with Soggy on this one.
Alright, well, before we go, we are going to show off one more thing, which is the actual super boss of the game.
Why is it spelt like that?
I don't have an answer to that.
Well, okay. So, what do we got?
Well, the Arma prototype honestly doesn't really have much of a gimmick. His gimmick is that he does fuck you damage. Well, everything. Basic attacks, special attacks, just everything does scales from fuck you damage to like, no, actually you're straight up fucking dead.
Ah, the Penance School of Super Boss. Does he have like... Does he at least have like a weird bullshit that requires both of the things to be alive and you can like kind of stall it by keeping them dead, but then he brings them back like really quickly unless you do the one thing that you can in the window before he brings them back to actually get some damage in?
Oh no. No. No, his help is purely there to be annoying at the start of the fight. They said this is about as pure damage race as you get, except, you know, the guy you're racing against does like 1500 damage at will and then also heals himself for 400 just because fuck you, that's why.
Oh, maybe not the Penance School of Super Boss design then. I mean, other than the fuck you damage, but like, yeah. Is there a good theory for what you're supposed to do other than, like, you know, win the damage race and keep your healing up? Like, is there really much to strategize?
There really isn't.
Yeah. Don't know how I feel about that.
I mean, it's hard to tell, but it does look like he prioritizes attacking the person with the lowest health. There is, I guess, a theory where, like, you could continually revive someone and then just let them sit there and constantly get owned and then bring them back again.
I mean, AI exploitation is a classic. I mean, now that you bring it up, I'm like, yeah, he did keep attacking Gilo, and you keep reviving Gilo, and he keeps killing Gilo. And just now, like, Millie was down, but she had more health, and, like, you know, he could prove me wrong eventually. So there is that, I guess. That's something.
Shame on me.
But, like, yeah. Also, just for the record, in case anybody's wondering, I don't actually think that Penance was a great super boss. Just, like, don't read a qualitative judgment into that. I'm just saying, the theory of fuck you damage just puts me in that frame of mind. Of course, the thing with Penance is that you can do fuck you damage to him, so
Should also very briefly note that his full combo, 3 hits plus X Bluster, did 3,500 damage to Gilo. So, you know.
Yeah, fuck you in particular.
That's enough to just literally one-shot our entire party. I think Sagi might survive with like 300 health if he was at full before he took any hits. So yeah, that's the Armor prototype. We will not be defeating it. I trust you understand why.
Yeah, sensible, rational decisions. Somebody has to be doing them.